Hello, my name is Diane, and I'm an admissions representative with Kansas State University Online. I want to start thanking everyone for joining us tonight to learn more about our academic advising graduate programs. I'm joined by the Associate Professor, Dr. Lisa Rubin, and Program Assistant, Pam McGlynn, who are going to spend roughly the next 30 minutes giving us a presentation about this webinar and spend the last 10 to 15 minutes answering questions. Throughout the duration of this presentation, we will be monitoring the chat feature and answering questions as they're being asked. Some of your questions may be saved until the end for Dr. Rubin and Pam to answer. If you could now please take a few seconds to locate the chat feature and answer the question you see on your screen, as we would love to learn a little bit more about you. I will give you a minute to do so now. As those chats are coming in, I also wanted to let you know that we will be sharing a recording of this presentation following the webinar. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Rubin and Pam.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Lisa Rubin, and I'm really excited to have all of you with us this evening. I'm going to go through a presentation that discusses our 3 online programs, our certificate in academic advising, our master's, and our PhD program. And Pam and I will be here to answer lots of questions. So we'll go through the presentation briefly because I know the questions are probably more important, and make sure you get all the information you need while you're here with us this evening. So starting out, we began the certificate program all the way back in 2003, and that built into a master's program in 2008. And we launched our PhD program in 2020 and have admitted our second cohort this summer in 2022. So first, I'll talk about the certificate program. This program is a 15 credit, again, fully online program. And all of the courses that you see here currently count towards half of the master's degree. So a lot of students might start pursuing the certificate and then can continue later with the master's if they so choose. Much of these courses are offered at least 2 to 3 times a year, so spring, summer, and fall. And they all have a really great use for people who maybe already have a master's in higher ed, but are pursuing careers in academic advising or overseeing advising as an administrator. So this is a great addition. It could be like just the end goal to earn a certificate, or it could again contribute to the master's program. And so moving into the master's program, this is our biggest program that we have at K-State. And in terms of academic advising, the enrollment and the number of courses that we offer, you can see that there are 30 credits here. So we have 9 required courses, which is 27 credits, and a choice of elective for 3 credits. So that makes the whole program 10 classes and 30 credits, which is fully online as well. What's nice about it is there's no pace, so you can take the courses one at a time, or part-time or full-time in different capacities. There's no required sequence in the program as well. So you can take things and, if you need to take a course that may benefit something you're doing in your job, you can start with that course, for example, or you can take them kind of in an order that suits your interests. All of the courses here are taught pretty regularly online. I think all the courses in the top group, the required group, are offered 2 to 3 times per year. And then the elective courses are offered as specific semesters, fall, spring, or summer. There's going to be at least one option available. So these courses, again, if you think back to the certificate, again, 15 credits of the certificate count. So you could pursue the certificate first and then earn the master's after, or some people just earn the master's because the certificate is not something that is required or needed for their professional experience. So there's a lot of different ways to pursue our program, but we have students apply rolling throughout the year, so you can start the program in spring, summer, or fall. And we recommend students take Foundations of Academic Advising first, but all the other courses do not have prerequisites with one exception, and that is the assessment elective requires research methods before taking assessment. So this program does not require any specific experience. So we have students from all walks of life, from someone who's already working in advising to someone who wished to break into advising or change careers in higher ed, maybe from admissions to advising. We've had students come from the K-12 space and go into higher ed through advising, and people who just want to learn and do something different. So you'll find, I think, a really nice group of students from very experienced to changing careers, all age levels. I've had people from fresh out of college to grandparents of 6 and all sorts of students in between. And that's really the best part, is learning from each other. So for admissions for the master's program, we require a bachelor's degree with a minimum 3.0 GPA in the final 2 years, or approximately the last 60 credit hours of the upper division coursework of the bachelor's degree. And as I said, it's a year-round admission cycle. So we do encourage people to apply 2 to 3 months before the semester begins at the latest, so we can make sure that paperwork is processed, digitally, and students have time to meet with our advisor virtually and enroll on time. So we do encourage students to include a resume or CV and a brief statement of goals that covers some of the following information. So what are your career and professional goals, and how does being accepted into the academic advising master's help with those goals? The reason for your interest in our program, any evidence of your motivation, leadership, and work ethic, any experiences that support your application. And if you're an international student, it includes a statement that you're taking courses through distance education and that you're not coming to the US for any program coursework, since it is not an in-person program. And so now I'll touch on the PhD program, and then we'll get to lots of time for questions and conversation. So this program prepares people for roles in leadership, research, and teaching focused on academic advising and higher education. And we'll say we are the only institution in the world that I know of that has a doctoral program in leadership and academic advising. So we're very proud of offering this first. Our program requires 90 post-baccalaureate hours, and it is a subplan of our counseling and student development PhD program. So the degree would say counseling and student development, and then leadership and academic advising is the subplan. When we say 90 hours post-baccalaureate, that means 30 credits of a master's degree in a general area that is transferable will count towards the 90. So most students have a master's degree when they apply, and therefore need 60 credits to complete the degree post-master's. And there's no individual transfer courses. K-State will take 30 credits of the master's program. There are a couple co-requisite courses we recommend if people haven't had a background in higher education or academic advising. So I'll talk about that. So some key aspects of this program are that it's a cohort model, meaning you're taking classes together with the same group of people throughout the experience. And the courses are offered through K-State Online. Most of the time, there will be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous, and understanding that students come from all over the country and the world. We try to limit the synchronous sessions and work with students to pick times that will hopefully be something that everyone can handle on their schedule, which I know is extremely difficult. We have 1 week on campus session for 3 summers. And those students were just here last week for the very first time. Because of COVID, our first cohort never could make it here safely. So they came last week, and then our new cohorts came last week as well. So it's not exactly a residency, but a time for all the students to meet each other in person, meet the faculty, tour the Nakata executive office, have class experience with their faculty in person, and meet a lot of the resources and experts on our campus that support them through their program and their research. So that is a really cool opportunity. And we require the cohort to take 6 credits per semester or 2 classes. And that includes summer, fall, and spring. And that takes 7 consecutive semesters. So the students who began in summer 2020 just finishing coursework this summer, and next week is the last week of classes. So they will be done with classes after 2.5 years or 2 years, and will proceed to their preliminary exam. And as you see that, the preliminary exam will be completed this fall by that group, and then they'll continue in their dissertation research. So we have ongoing professional development as part of that program. And what that means is we have monthly meetings as a group that we all agree on a day and a time at the beginning, and that's sort of set for the whole time that they're in the program. And in that program, we provide access to expert panelists, Nakata executive office staff, advising scholars, and numerous other opportunities. We also encourage collaborative opportunities between students and faculty. So if they want to get involved in research projects while enrolled, that's something that we offer. We have these regular monthly meetings, as I mentioned. So sometimes the faculty will disappear and let the students connect and hang out with each other, because ultimately the cohort is your support system. And again, potential for involvement in scholarly activities. We have the Nakata headquarters here at Kansas State, and it's part of the College of Education. So that provides us a significant amount of opportunity to provide our students that maybe other institutions couldn't provide, and that includes the Research Center. So how to get started for the doctoral program. So this, you can see that these dates are for the group that just began. So we will be accepting applications for students who will be starting in summer 2024. So you have time to think about this, especially if you're starting the master's now or want to. You can definitely think about pursuing the PhD starting in 2024. So that means the application would be due December 1st, 2023. So we've got a little over a year. It's a big decision anyway, so it's probably a good idea to think about it. We have a scholarly essay required, so we want original paper, not like when we ask for a writing sample, we want it to be something new that you create, thinking about maybe an issue in academic advising that is, making you like scratch your head and think about and wonder and explore. And so we want to see what you think about there. I'm going to share a video, and I think I may have to, I don't think I added my sound to screen share, so give me 1 second here. Let me figure that out and get back to that. Okay, hopefully this will work. So Christy Laxwalker is a graduate of our master's program, and she just began in the doctoral cohort that began this summer. So this is a video of her sharing about her experience in the master's program online.
For students that are wondering, what's their next step? For me, it took a lot of years to determine that. And I finally figured out, I'm researching careers and I'm doing this and looking into development for students. And this was the answer to what it was. Every time I wanted to know something, I sent an email. And really that was really one of the driving forces as to why I decided to attend, because it was just such, it was really personal and they really cared. I'm the type of person that likes to be in the class with the professor up front, and I actually really feel like I had that experience with the global campus. I know several of my professors, and I feel the real connection with them. So the global experience for me has been really almost better than in the classroom, because there was so much contact. I feel that it's really been, I've been part of the family. I want to get as much academic advising experience as possible. I really enjoy student development, and that was a big part of our program. So lots of our classes really focus on theory and development. And for me, that was important because it lets you get to the heart of the student. One of the things that I was able to do that I really like is attend the Nakata conference. So I met several of my professors there. Really made connections there. On campus, because I was in the program, I was also able to create and work with one of our provosts to actually do an assistantship in academic advising. Halfway through the program, my father passed away. And I needed some time, and he gave me the time that I needed. For some, they might have stopped and taken a break. And because of their care, because he really just allowed me what I needed. And so I didn't stop, I kept going and I finished. And so for me, that said a lot. It said a lot about who they are as just a family, as Kansas State, and how much they care about their students. There can be challenging times. And so just the fact that they made sure that I had everything I needed all the time. I think because of that and their partnership, even with Nakata, I mean, really makes it something that students love. And so just this distance education at a, just a world-renowned university for me, highly respected, you can't get much better at all.
So again, Christy just began our doctoral program, and she is at the University of Notre Dame and has been able to evolve, and now she's a STEM advisor and has really gotten a lot out of growth after getting her master's, was able to work with first year advising, and then now she's working with professional students in the STEM program. So a lot of the students in our new cohort are graduates of the master's program, pursued the doctoral program as well. And as she also mentioned, and I'll stop my share so you can see me better here. She mentioned the conference, and at the Nakata annual conference, Nakata is the Global Community for Academic Advising. And the annual conference is a place where we also host a reception for current and prospective students and alumni to come meet fellow students and the faculty and learn more about the programs as well. So if you are interested in talking to someone live, we will have a lot of faculty and students at the Nakata conference in October in Portland, Oregon. So that is all that I have in terms of the presentation. So I will take more questions or see if Pam wants me to add anything to something already asked.
No, I didn't necessarily have anything to add.
Okay.
I'm still just trying to keep track of the questions. Sorry, answer them as I go.
Of course. Oh, that's great, Zach. You're interested in applying for a certificate. So I don't, Pam, you may know the answer to the enrollment in the certificate program, because that I don't have. Pam keeps track of all of the enrollment more than I do. If you know
I don't have that number. It's probably around 300. But I can't, I guess I could try to look it up right now, but.
To the question about coursework, so courses that transfer in to the master's do need to be within the past 6 years. That's a graduate school requirement, so that's not something like in our department discretion. But if you say you work at an institution and can take research methods for a discount or for free, and you want to transfer that in, you can transfer up to 6 credits into our program from another institution. So you could definitely take, if student development theory is offered in a higher ed program or student affairs program, you can transfer in up to 6 credits that are within the past 6 years. What we require usually when you reach out to Dr. Kraft, who is our department head, you're able to share the syllabi with her, and she'll have the faculty who teach those courses review it for transferability, and then we'll add it to your program of study so the graduate school knows that we're counting those courses toward your degree program. So hopefully that alleviates some concern about if anyone has plans for credit. Okay, looks like Pam answered the question. If you're applying for a certificate, you would apply to the certificate program as the non-degree seeking student. And congrats, Nancy, for joining us in the spring. That's awesome. And Karen, one of our doctoral students, is from Sinclair Mason. So if you want to connect with her, you can reach out, let us, we can get you connected to another Sinclair person. I got a couple shirts from your institution while she was here last week. So yes, there's a great question from Peggy about working full-time while in the program. I think a significant number of students work full-time while they work on this program. It's really, I don't know if choose your own adventure, but you can take one class at a time, you can take two, you can take three. Usually past three is considered too much for a graduate level. Full-time is considered 9 credits at K-State. And if you were local to Kansas or to the institution, if you're in a 20-hour a week or part-time graduate assistantship, we consider you full-time with 6 credits. So I suggest that, if it's something new or you're not really used to online classes, for example, you may want to take one class and just kind of get your feet wet and feel how that is, and then build from there. And I say you're not comparing yourself to anybody, like there's no race. It's only 10 classes. So again, like it's not going to take forever if you start slow and try to figure that out. It's really up to you for, time reasons, financial reasons, and other personal reasons, if it's something that you can do more than one class at a time. It's a good question. So I have a screen above me. That's why I'm looking up to try to read all these really quickly, because I'm not wearing my glasses tonight. Okay, so there's a question about percentage of students admitted. So we don't have like a restriction on the master's or certificate if you meet the criteria. So the doctoral program is a little different because, as I mentioned, it's a cohort. So we really want students whoever applies, we limit the pool and then interview candidates and then try to find a pool of people that jive together for different reasons, representing different institution types, different backgrounds and different levels of experience. And we don't have a number I can give you, but I'd say it's more competitive than the other programs because everyone who applies typically has good GPA and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different factors, but I guess I'll reiterate because no one's asked yet, but there's no test scores to apply to any of these programs. So you do not need a GRE, which probably is a big relief. I don't know, I have test anxiety. I'm really glad that our department made the decision a few years ago to drop the GRE test and encourage the writing sample, because I think you write a lot more in a doctoral program anyway than you take tests. And even in the master's program, there's not too many tests. So I think that you're not really demonstrating anything by giving us a test score. And hopefully that gives you a sense of relief. You don't have to go study for a test, pay for a test, or go, darn, my test expired. So now that's a little less stress if you're not a test taking fan like I am not. So something to be happy about there. Okay, let's see, trying to keep up with all the questions here. Okay, and Diane answered a question. If you're a K-State employee, yes, you should be eligible for the tuition credit through the benefits from our human capital services. So that's a very nice perk. And we have a lot of K-State staff and faculty who have taken classes with us or completed one of the programs. So lots of people to talk to, especially if you're in the advisor forum. Oh, good. Julie reached out to you, Karen. Awesome. Yes. I'm really glad. She's the one who brought me all the Sinclair shirts. Very good. I'm bouncing between chat and Q&A, so thank you for dealing with my frenzy here. While I wait for another question, I think I can pull up a screen again that has all of our contact info because I think I forgot to get that far for you. So bear with me 1 second while I pull that up. Let's see. Share my screen here. Okay. Oh, I think I messed that up. Hold on. I'm having a day. And let me get back to the slide that I wanted to show you, which is this one. Okay, hopefully this will be visible now. So for liaison purposes, we have different faculty who can answer questions for you. So, I mean, all of us on the screen can answer questions about everything. Pam can answer questions about everything. She is the guru of the program, does all the behind the scenes things. Dr. McGill is our liaison for the certificate program, and I'm the liaison for masters. And then Dr. Wendy Troxel, who's the director for the Nakata Center for Research, is a doctoral contact. And then Dr. Kraft, Christy Kraft, is our department chair. And she also is very knowledgeable about all the programs. I think all of them would have loved to be here tonight. In fact, a lot of us have been getting through being sick. So I think I'm the only one who was able to talk tonight. So forgive them for not being here with us, but I'm really glad Pam and Diane are here to help answer any questions as well. So again, any of these folks you can reach out to. We'd be happy to answer questions. Our website's very good. We have one through K-State Online that has the whole curriculum for each program and all the admissions information. And then Pam also maintains a website for the program through WordPress that has like deadlines and details and courses offered and all sorts of things, and that you can subscribe to as well for email updates. So those are really good resources. Applying here at online.kstate.edu and then click how to apply. And then again, you can see all of us. Brittany's not here tonight, but she's also a resource that you can reach out to. And probably don't call that number. I don't check my phone. Email is great. So feel free to email us. I'll go ahead and stop sharing again and look for anything else that we can answer while we are here, because we have time. Or anything, Pam, that you think I should repeat that I missed?
The only thing, I'm not that familiar with the PhD program, so I don't know if courses can be transferred into the PhD or not. That's Peggy Newsom's question.
So a few courses may be eligible for transfer if they're doctoral level. I think PhD, we can accept up to 12 credits transferable. Dan, if it's 9, I feel like it's 12, but maybe we can double check that, Peggy. But all the core classes are likely to be found in a higher ed program. So if your institution has one or you started one, like enrollment management in higher ed, if you took a course on that, we'd consider it. So again, same process. We'd look at the transcript. The professor who teaches it would receive the transcript from Dr. Kraft and would review that for consideration to see if it's transferable. And then we would denote that in the transfer program of study form. It's a little tricky though. I'll say this is just the tricky part, because I've had to deal with this with a student who already had a master's degree coming to K-State and then pursued our advising masters while working on a PhD in student affairs. And that was, since we take 30 credits from any master's that's somewhat related, then it's hard to also take specific courses for transfer. So it leads to a kind of a paperwork conundrum that we seem to have worked out in special cases, but it could be a concern if you need one class to count, and then how does that work with the master's transfer? So those are good questions for Dr. Kraft, if that is something specific to your case that you want to check with her, since she's the person who coordinates the admissions for our department. Yeah, thank you. I wish it's hard to have a perfect answer. PhD transfers is very complicated for sure. But since there's lots of time before December 1st, 2023 to apply, we have a lot of time to get your questions answered the correct way. And the students in the programs now are having a great experience. It was really cool because we spent over 5 years envisioning that program, and to see 2 different cohorts in person last week was pretty amazing. And I mean, knowing that we're cultivating the future of the field, it's very exciting. I don't know how many of you are members of Nakata. If you are not and you become a student, then it's very affordable to join as a student member. In fact, it's actually one of the lowest cost membership dues for professional members as well. It's definitely under $100 for, it's like 75, I think, for professionals and maybe 20, 25 for students. And so having them headquartered here is immensely helpful for our strength and reputation worldwide. And Nakata, again, has lots of opportunities. They have research grants, they have internship programs, all sorts of things that our students have access to, even at the master's level or the certificate level. So I think that's a huge resource. Another thing I failed to mention is a lot of the executive office staff for Nakata are faculty in our program. So you may have a course with several of the faculty that also serve Nakata at the highest level as administrators of the organization. So you may have Dr. Troxel for assessment or Dr. Bridgen for a course. And so you're having like the true experts in the field who also teach you, and that's really cool. And they're very down to earth, even though to many of us they're famous, but they're really cool. So something to think
Lisa?
about there. Yeah.
There's a couple of questions that ask about how the master's helps advisors in their job, and also whether I think it's whether there's an additional degree beyond. I'm not sure quite what the question is, beyond just I think the certificate he's asking. It's Zach's question. I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
Okay, let me see. It's an open one. I'm looking at the closed one. Forgive me there. Additional degree certificate recommend with this degree. So that's a good question, Zach. I'll say that I've had a lot of students say, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing a second master's and or do 2 at the same time or 1 after this one." I will say generally in higher ed, 1 is sufficient. I used to be a career counselor before this, so hopefully that will help you with my background here. But I think a lot of higher ed professionals have tons of experience, and with a master's, that is definitely enough to get a reasonably good position. And I mean, the reality is, I think you'll see changes now with the Great Resignation, but advisors deserve more compensation. So rather than continuously pay for more education, I think 1 master's would be a sufficient starting point. But like, say if you already have a master's in higher ed and you want the certificate to help advance your practice or help enhance what you're doing, that could be a good idea. I wouldn't push people to enroll in the master's. We have had people do it as a second master's. I'm not going to say that's not true. And they've had their own reasons for it, but it's one of those that depends, like what value will your institution place if you're already employed? Will they give you more money if you earn the full master's, or will they pay for your tuition? That would be great. But it could be that if you are working in admissions, we've had a lot of people in admissions that come over into advising through our programs. And maybe they already have a master's in higher ed or student affairs, and that the 15 credit certificate, it's nice to have a certificate, but the knowledge gained in the courses have been really beneficial. And I'll tell you that when I was interviewing alumni as we developed the PhD program, I spent a lot of time doing focus groups with graduates of the master's program to find out what was missing for their career moving forward that we could add into a doctoral curriculum. What did they get out of the master's that was most beneficial to their practice when they graduated, and maybe are supervising people who are advisors. And a lot of that information has helped us strengthen the curriculum now. Interpersonal communication with students, and some of that, it has a little counseling background. The career development theories, like all these courses that students highlighted, helped us strengthen those, and then also build the PhD program to add value for an additional degree that way. But I'll just tell everyone this, since you're here and you're interested, that we are currently reviewing the curriculum for the certificate and master's, and it may be going through a curriculum change in the coming years. It takes many years to do that, but we've been listening to our grads and we've been looking at trends. And as you figure, many of the faculty in our program are scholars of advising. So we see changes and things that could advance the field by updating the courses or the topics in the program. So that is something exciting. If you're not sure right now and you want to wait a year and see what happens, maybe we may have a different curriculum in a year or two. I won't say it's drastically, crazily different, but maybe more options. Like we just changed our local masters in college student development starting this fall, and we have like a social justice focus. So we're trying to do more things that will help advance people and what they're passionate about, while also serving students, having a great career, encouraging, critical thinking in the field and advancing the field. So I hope that answers the question that, we'd love to have you if you have a master's and you want to do another one, but I'm not trying to press people to spend more money if it's not conducive to your situation. The certificate, maybe just want to take a class as a non-degree seeking student just to learn something. You don't want to do everything right now. The greatest thing about K-State, if you enroll, say, in the master's and you need a break, like if you imagine anyone in K-12 in the pandemic, when they enrolled, they're like, okay, I'm teaching my kids at home, I'm teaching my students in my K-12 classroom at home on Zoom, and I'm trying to have a life and do this program. A lot of them took a break. And if you are an active record in a K-State degree program, you can stay active for up to 2 years without having to reapply. So if you need a year off and you're like, okay, I need a break, come back, you don't have to do anything except just enroll when it's your time to enroll for the next semester. So we're not like pushing people to get through as fast as possible or anything. It's like, it's life. So whatever works for you is going to work for us, and you'll have an advisor to support you through that. It'll be a faculty member in the program, and you can go to them with questions. And again, Pam is always there. Dr. Kraft is always there as a department head. So we want it to be realistic, positive, beneficial to you. Going to graduate school is a commitment, and even if it's just a class, and we don't want it to be like a burden or something unhappy. So if you feel like this is something that you want to do, like we'll support you through it. All right, so we have a lot of good questions here. How many?
I was just going to say, Jamie's
go ahead.
asking about specific, this is something I can't answer. So she's asking about specific tools, whether the program teaches specific tools to work with advising students. She specifically mentions a piece of software called Oasis. So I don't know if that's covered.
So from what I know, because I don't teach everything, but from what I know, we don't have any like special technology focus in the courses in terms of specific like Banner or Starfish or Oasis or those kind of things. So that's something that we right now have been encouraging, if you're a Nakata member, to join the advising technology community, because they do have professional development in that space. It is something that's come up a lot, Jamie, from different students lately. So I think it's on our radar, maybe as we consider the new curriculum. And if we do have any sessions that like Nakata is going to offer, or our faculty, then we would advertise it like through Pam's website and share opportunities for people to learn more about those tools. But it may be, because it's institution specific, like at K-State, we use EAB and SSD Navigate, but at other school, they may use Banner. And so not those like specific types of tools, but we do have specific types of approaches to working with students in a one-on-one session. And there's a lot of, from the detail in the interpersonal class to, if it's a career situation, career development or career advising class, student development, a lot of those situations are covered in classes with special populations. We have a class on students who have disabilities, and that can mean a lot of different things. I teach on college student athletes, which has a whole different type of approach to working with students who have that background. So we try to cover all of those like relationships and working through tough problems and those sort of things. But the technology is something that it's definitely on our radar, and I appreciate you bringing it up because it is important. Thank you, everybody, for these very nice comments. Trying to read sideways, read in front of me, read above me. So, okay, so we have So Peggy, it sounds like the question you're asking may be a question for your institution's HR, like if they'll pay the tuition waiver or the tuition for your courses enrolled here. I wish I could answer that question, but I think it's probably an institution benefit question. It'd be awesome if your institution will pay for you to attend elsewhere, because some people don't have the program they want where they work. But I hope it works for you, because that would be great. And the PhD, again, 6 credits at a time with the cohort. The co-requisite right now are research methods. So if you have the master's and you already took research methods, or you have a different master's, any research methods that has to be approved, like in ours, it's education research methods. That would be one of the requirements, the co-rec, which can be taken when you enroll here. It doesn't have to be taken in advance, but if you are an institution that has it, I would recommend it if you get a discount. That would be ideal. The other course is either a diversity in higher education or multicultural advising course, which of course we offer online. If it's something like similar, again, you can try to get that transferable before taking it. And it's not really transferable. It's just kind of like before you finish your degree, you should have this course as a background, knowing the importance of diversity and multiculturalism right now in higher education. Awesome, thank you. How much the master's credit? Okay, I think we already get that one. Okay, so anything else I can answer for anybody? I know it's late in some places. Maybe you haven't had dinner yet. I don't want to keep you from there, but let us know. And again, you can email anybody that was on that screen or anybody in the department, we'll get you the right person if you're concerned. And then if it ends up being a case like, you know, Karen has one of the doctoral students in our program, and they work together. If you need to connect with somebody that's in the doc program or the master's program, you want to talk to a student that's recently completed or just began, or, you know, I can probably find a student or former student that's willing to talk to you. And so yes, Courtney, you asked about scholarships. That's excellent. So K-State Online, where Diane is working, has lots of scholarship opportunities for distance students. I think they're offered all 3 semesters. So there's like a application process each time. Diane, do you have anything to add about that?
Yes.
Oh, she posted it. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I just added that if you're all interested in learning more about our opportunity or scholarships opportunities, our website lists all of the different ones that we have available.
Thank you so much. And I'll also add, since Karen mentioned the Nakata conference in Portland, if you are already a Nakata member, there are scholarships you can apply through your region to go to the conference. I think it covers the travel and the registration, or at least the registration. So that's something to consider if you're already a member. If you end up being a student with us and you get accepted to present at Nakata or another conference that's related, we do have travel funding for our students, including distance students, and that includes department, college, and our graduate student council, which represents all grad students at K-State. All of them have different types of travel funding. And so if you are presenting a poster or a panel or some kind of research paper, you can be eligible for those monies as well. So those are all great. Like our distance students are part of the K-State community. So we have, again, the scholarships, the funding for travel. We want to make sure that you're part of our team too. And Dr. McGill and I have been doing like kind of a couple times a semester, maybe like a drop-in, not a webinar like this, but just like a regular Zoom where any current student can come in and chit chat and ask questions and like clarify things or talk to other students maybe that they haven't met on Zoom, because it's all asynchronous for them. So there's kind of that, we're trying to build that community as well. Again, we have students from all over the world in the master's and certificate program. Right now, just US students in the doctoral program. So we're trying to advance that, but we'd love to connect you to students from all over the world. In fact, the last time we had a kind of a chill session with everybody, we had a student who was in China at 8 a.m. Was about to start her day working at a K-12 institution while we were hanging out at 8 p.m. the night before. And it was so amazing just to talk to her. And she's in the class with us, but we didn't, it's just weird to see it, this whole different experience. So you will see students from all over. We have, of course, a lot of people in Canada, sometimes in Europe, in the Middle East, China, we've had several students. So you'll never know who you'll meet and what perspectives you'll get, and that's pretty exciting. You'll find some people who, again, have like zero knowledge about advising to people who are heavily involved in Nakata or leaders in the organization and doing all sorts of cool things. So that's why I love teaching, because I learn so much from the students. And love to have you join us if that works for you. And again, whenever it works for you, there's no pressure here. We're here to answer questions. And again, you can apply anytime, whenever you're ready. And that's the good news. Or if you're thinking about the doctoral program, you have a year and a couple months till that next application is due. So any last questions that I can answer? No silly questions. Well, I really appreciate all of your time this evening. Again, I'm Dr. Lisa Rubin. We have Pam McGlynn here and Diane Leon, and we're happy to answer any questions in the future. Really glad that you're even thinking about us at Kansas State and the academic advising program. And if you like purple at all, you definitely, I'm wearing the purple dress. I was hiding it with my hair here, my purple earrings. It's definitely part of our culture. As you heard Christy say in the video, she felt like she was part of us even as a distance student. And now we actually got to have her on campus last week. And I'm going to visit her at Notre Dame this fall. I'm very excited to go there for the first time. So we really like staying connected with our students and helping you with your goals. So have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Rubin and Pam, for that wonderful presentation. And I also want to thank everyone for joining us here tonight. If you are ready to apply, please visit our website at online.ksu.edu and select how to apply for detailed instructions. As a reminder, everyone who has registered for this webinar will be receiving a recording via email as soon as it's available. Finally, if you have any additional questions that we didn't cover tonight, please don't hesitate to reach out. And we also wanted to be sure to let everyone know that we do have application fee waivers available for those applying to the master's degree for the upcoming fall semester. So feel free to reach out to us at online@ksu.edu when you are ready to apply, and we would be happy to provide you with a code. Thanks again and have a great night.